Let's hang out over the weekend.
All right. Oh, you're back, Luke. Must be gone.
Cut me off.
All right, Kyle, SmileDirect. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Good, good. Sorry for making you wait a minute or two. I guess they're doing a live trade of some sort. So, how's life in these Corona days with you guys?
Life is good. Yeah, business is doing well. Kids are back in school, which is always a good thing. So, things are going well, and optimistic for the coming quarters here.
Great. So how has the pandemic impacted you guys, and what is the outlook with that? Is it changed business a lot? I know a while ago you guys, trimmed staff for a little bit, just like every company basically did. It's unless it was some, virtual company like Amazon. But how is that going, that process?
Yeah, I would say it's going well. So if you look at our business, since inception, we've always been a teledentistry business, right? So business has been around now for about 6 years. And because of that teledentistry platform, it enabled us to pivot very, very quickly when COVID first started. So, if you look at our business, we were probably about 90% of our business was going through our Smile shops. And I can talk more about what that means prior to COVID. In the early stages of COVID, we actually had to shut all those Smile shops down. And so we pivoted to our impression kits and had about almost 100% of our business going through our impression kit business. And that's back today more closer to 50-50 between the two of them. But, I think what it really demonstrated overall was just the agility and the flexibility of the business model and of our team members. And so, throughout the pandemic, we've been able to operate and really execute against the longer term plan that we've outlined.
Yeah, and I've seen that with your numbers. So one of the questions that we get is the company looking this quarter profitability? Is that still you've had a couple consecutive quarters of profitability? Is that still something in the outlook, or did Corona interfere with that?
No, absolutely. Still the plan. So we came in first quarter of EBITDA profitability was Q3 of last year. That was one quarter ahead of plan. We executed on that again in Q4, and we've guided to being EBITDA positive again here in Q1, and well positioned for that. And I would say even more importantly, executing very well against the longer term targets that we've outlined, and really building the infrastructure to drive to that 25 to 30% EBITDA margin over a multi-year period.
Got it. And I know you're the CFO, but we're going to get off financials in a second and get to what you guys really do and why it's an exciting company. You're currently in 12 countries, I think. Are you looking to expand further?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at the market, about 75% of our opportunity is actually outside of the US. So it truly is a global opportunity. We've launched our first market towards the early part of 2019, as you said, in 12 countries globally now. And we've got another handful that we're expected to launch into in this year and beyond. And that's globally. We're looking at not only LATAM and APAC, but Europe as well, and other regions around the world. So certainly part of the core growth strategy that we've outlined. If you look at our core market, we're in the early stages of a massive opportunity, but international is an important component of that.
Is it hard to go to other countries? Like how do you go open another country? Do you have to hire a general manager of that country?
We do. Yeah. So we've got a great team and a great president of international who leads that part of our business. But we go through a pretty long process that builds up to it, where we're looking at a lot of different items leading into it. So we look at the regulatory environment as a good example, the competitive dynamics, and generally we overinvest in these markets for a 24-month period. So, we were just talking about being profitable as of Q3 last year. If you look at our international business, that actually still operates at a loss today as we invest into those countries to get them to where the US is today, even though on a consolidated basis, we're profitable across the entire business. So we're making significant investments to support that growth. And we do that for a multi-year period. So if you look at the US, for example, 1 in 2 consumers around the country are familiar with the SmileDirectClub brand. Obviously, in countries that we launch into, that aided awareness is effectively none when we first launch. And so we have a lot of effort that goes into building up that awareness and building the brand in these new markets.
Got it. Okay. Now, what is SmileDirect Teen?
The team product itself.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that?
Yeah. So if you look at the orthodontic industry, about 75% of that market is teens. So case starts, about 75% is teens. For us, it's only about 10% of our business today. So it's a relatively small percentage of our total business. We actually have 20% of our business that's 50 and older, and everything else is in between. So it's pretty broad from an age and income demographics perspective. But we launched a product last summer that was specifically focused on the teen market, just given that's a very important component as we think about our growth for the future, but a relatively smaller percentage of our business today. So we have a teen product that focuses specifically on that market. And what it really differentiates is, if you think about how we have to communicate with our club members to help them change their aligners, as a great example. So sending out reminders to change aligners. Well, with the teen product, you now need to communicate not only with the teen themselves, but also with the parent. And so there was a lot of back-end infrastructure that we had to build and tailor to focus specifically on that teen market.
Okay. Now, so how does it work? I mean, I had a guy in the office. He's about to sign up with you guys, but are dentists using you guys, or how does orthodontist, is it on the own? Is it people going online? Like how is the process? I know your process is a little bit different than a line. What is like the differentiator? Like how does that part work?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's absolutely a doctor involved, as you point out. So we provide doctor directed care, no different than you would get in a brick and mortar practice today, but we're using our teledentistry platform. So if you think about the differentiator, we're providing a safe and effective product, but we're doing it without the 3 times markup that's associated with traditional orthodontics. And so if you think about traditional ortho historically, Invisalign would sell the aligners to the dentist or to the orthodontist, and they would mark it up 3 times and then sell that back to the consumer. We've effectively provided that same doctor-directed care through our teledentistry platform, but remove that markup. And so we've made it so much cheaper for club members while getting great outcomes. So if you look at the outcomes that we're providing and look at the before and afters that we provide on our website, clearly great outcomes, but without that markup. So how does that work? We drive demand to our website. And so they're getting to the site through aided awareness, as I mentioned before, which is about 1 in 2 consumers today, or about 50% of the population. They get there through referrals, which is over 20% of our business today, 22% as of last quarter, or through marketing. And so we drive them to the site. When they get to the site, they choose if they want to order an impression kit. And if they order an impression kit, we'll ship it directly to their door. They'll do the impression and send it back to our dental lab and manufacturing facilities that are located here just outside of Nashville. They could also book an appointment at a Smile Shop, so they could go directly to one of our shops. We have 100 permanent locations around the country, and have another 100 or so pop-up events that we're doing. So you might be in a city that doesn't have a Smile Shop. We're still likely coming there once a month with a pop-up event. And then we've recently launched partnerships with a lot of dental offices as well. So you can go in person at your dentist as well and start your journey that way, where the dental office will do that initial assessment in the initial scan. They'll upload that to our teledentistry platform, and then our doctor network takes over the rest of the process from there and manages that process no differently than we do with our shops with kits.
Yeah, and I know that it's there's different vendors, different technologies that come in, and people don't like change sometimes. So and you guys have been a disruptor to providing a solution that didn't exist before. Is 3D printing important to this industry?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're actually the largest 3D printing manufacturer in the U.S. today. And so what happens is a lot of people think the aligners themselves are actually 3D printed. That's not the case. So what happens is with the scan that we would take for you when you go into a Smile Shop, we actually take that digital file and we load that print file through a 3D printer. And what comes out of that is basically a mold of your teeth. And so there's mold that comes out, and we take the plastic and we thermoform that plastic over top of that arch. So 3D printing is a very important part of that. We're the largest, as I said, in the US today, manufacturing for 3D printers. We've got a great partnership with HP. And actually, if you go to our website today, you'll see on our investor page a great video of the manufacturing facilities that we have and the complexity and infrastructure that we've built over the past 6 years in manufacturing.
Got it. And so one of the things with 3D printing, you guys take impressions of the mouth. I told one of your founders, I wish you guys would make custom-made ear pods, like those white ear pods that Apple makes. I've tried everything. I did the rubber, like the thing around it. They fall out of my ears. You
right.
Make these perfect impressions of your teeth. Why can't you make it for ears? You know what I mean? Like,
it's funny you say that. We've thought over the years about a lot of different opportunities, and really today I've stayed focused on oral health and oral care. So if you look at what we've created, obviously disrupting the orthodontic industry, but we've also disrupted the oral care industry as well. So we've got a line of oral care products. We've got the #1 whitening gel in the country over the past 12 months, and have really brought premium oral care products to the market at very affordable prices. But as you point out, our infrastructure is such that we have capacity potentially down the road to look at other avenues as well. And certainly in our Smile shops, which are only about 60% utilized today, we've got sufficient room for growth and potentially looking at ancillary services over time. Certainly not on the core roadmap, but something that we have thought a lot about.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly. It's not. It's something that I just would love. Those I'm jealous of you guys running around with the ear pods and they don't fall out. That's all. It's my selfish. I mean, hey,
right.
when I was interviewing you today, if I turn the camera to the wall, it's like, snag me a discount. They want me that we could do. Yeah.
So, right. We did actually 3D print, PPE equipment. If you go back to the start of COVID, when we had shut down manufacturing, we did a lot of PPE for the first couple months of COVID there.
Got it. Okay. Now there was another question someone sent me in before. Let me see if I can. Okay. So can you tell us about partnerships with insurance companies like MetLife and how that allows you to reach a larger customer base?
Yeah. So if you look at ortho insurance historically, I'm sure many people who have had their kids go through care and you try and get reimbursed from your insurance company, it's not a good experience. So you generally have to pay the provider and then work to get reimbursed from your insurance company. And if you look at acceptance of that, the general reimbursement would be something like 50% up to a lifetime max of say $1,000. So if you think about that in the context of traditional ortho care, you might get $1,000 back out of a total cost of a $5,000 treatment. Whereas for us, you would get $1,000 back out of $1,950. So it's a significantly higher portion of the overall treatment. So we've always accepted insurance. It's just been more of that reimbursement model historically that we've provided to our club members. A couple of years back, what we really switched to was going in network with insurance providers. So what that means is the club member would only pay us what they owe out of pocket. We would help them check eligibility and we would submit their claim directly to the insurance company. And the insurance company would pay us back directly. And so that club member just has a much better experience. It's a much lower cost out of pocket as well. And so we think it's a great growth opportunity. We're in network today with almost all of the largest payers around the country today. And what we're starting to do is actually partner with self-insured employers as well, so that we can drive the adoption of adult orthodontic coverage around the country, where historically, if you look at ortho coverage, a lot of it has been teen coverage. And so there's an age cap of, say, 18 or early 20s, depending on the plan that you have. But we're now partnering with self-insured employers as well to help drive that coverage so that there's no age caps associated with those plans. So it's a great benefit for our club members.
Got it. No, that's awesome. I mean, I thought that was a big move when you got those approved, when you got that worked out. So if I'm sitting here and I'm considering to invest in SmileDirect versus competitors, and I know we've talked about a lot of the great things you have going, are there things that, I mean, I'm sure there's things that are not out in the market, but are there something that, average Joe investor on the sideline should know about SmileDirect that I haven't asked about? I know you have a good founding team. I know the team. And I should say this, I'm an investor in SmileDirect, been one for a while. And so I know there was a lot of hoopla back in the day on it, and I've just stayed in and I'm in. So yeah, I mean, but is there something like, if you're on the sideline, why I should own or why someone should own SmileDirect for 3-4 years. And it's like, I know you have prepared remarks, but maybe it's like more even a casual conversation. I mean, how long have you been at SmileDirect for?
Yeah, so I've been here for about 3 years now. I've been in healthcare for about 15 years, but was with a healthcare IT company. We sold that business, and I just saw the opportunity that we have as a business, and the management team. If you look at our CEO, who you know well, has an incredible background and has led many highly disruptive businesses over the years. And so I looked at the team, looked at the opportunity, and I would say most importantly, looked at the mission. And if you look at what we're doing here, it's truly changing lives for people, right? I mean, our customer, it's been a lifelong problem where 90% of people have some type of crowding or spacing, and they've never been able to get treatment. It could be an access problem because only 40% of counties have access to an ortho. Maybe it wasn't convenient. They didn't want to go in every single month and have to go in person to see it. And it could have been a cost problem. So at $5,000 to $8,000, many people, obviously can't afford that. And so we've solved those critical problems and done it in a way that is incredibly powerful. So if you look at the confidence that we're bringing to people that have been through treatment, it truly does change their lives. And the whole company and the whole team really rallies around that mission. So it's a very fun team to be a part of. But I would say from an investor perspective, if you look at the competitive moats that we've built within this business, even though we're in the very early stages, this is a market opportunity that, if you do the math on it, 90% of people globally have some type of malocclusion. If you look at who can afford to pay, malocclusion being crowding or spacing of their teeth, if you look at who can afford to pay the $89 a month that we charge with SmilePay, there's 500 million people globally that we think fall within our market opportunity. Less than 1% of those are actually treated annually. So there's a $1 trillion market that we're going after here, we think, and we're in the very, very early stages of that. And if you look at the competitive dynamics and the barriers to success that we've built, we've got 50% aided awareness today. The next largest competitor in teledentistry has maybe 1 or 2% aided awareness. So we've got an incredible brand head start. But as you move beyond that, the omni-channel presence that we've built, giving people the option between impression kits and smile shops and their dental practice, no one's been able to replicate that, and it's going to take a lot of time and money to be able to get there. The teledentistry platform and the doctor network is another great example of a barrier that we built over the competitors. Our SmilePay program, 100% approval on SmilePay. That's a program that we keep on our balance sheet. It's going to be very difficult for someone to replicate that program. The vertical integration, I mentioned the manufacturing video on the website. Definitely encourage you to go check that out. But that's going to take someone hundreds of millions of dollars and many, many years to get there, and a lot of execution. So when you put all that together and you look at the unique position that we have within the market, in addition just to the massive opportunity we're going after, we think we're in the very early stages of an incredible opportunity. And most exciting, we're changing lives along the way and giving people the opportunity to get orthodontic care with great clinical outcomes, as I said, without the same 3x markup that you would pay with other providers.
Those are a lot of good reasons why you'd be a SmileDirect investor. But it's also what to me is amazing. Yeah, we can talk about Katzen, but the thing that's amazing to me is it's a household name. I mean, it's a household name. Yeah. You got the Golden State Warrior guy who's investor and wears the brand and also, but that's not enough. It's a household name. I mean, literally, I'm doing this interview with you, and we interview probably 20 public companies, or no, probably 40 public companies a week, CEOs.
Yep.
I've never had two people come up to me and say, "Hey, can you get a discount? I'm about to order." And I'm like, yeah. And then literally on the wall here, it says, "Snag me," So it's just funny, but it just shows where you guys started from and where you're at today and what can be done. And I'm sure you're very tech forward. I'm sure the app and tools like that are just going to get better and better and better, which
absolutely.
I assume would expand profit margins.
Yeah, absolutely. Our R&D is a big focus for us right now. We put a lot of money investing in. If you think about the disruption we brought to the market, it was really about disrupting the category with products that were out there and really removing that markup. As I said before, the next evolution of our disruption is really focused around R&D and AI and ways that we can continue to disrupt with technology how we do business today. And we've got a lot of exciting stuff in development there.
So here's a question that I guess I'm going to go to someone who's probably maybe bearish. I don't know. Says Jeff Calverley wrote, SmileDirect is for people that can't afford to go to a professional and get like a professional orthodontist and get treated properly. What's the response to that?
Yeah, it's just not true. I think if you look at the noise that's been out there historically, that's certainly been the knock that's on the brand, is that we don't provide great clinical outcomes, and it's only for people that can't afford it. And I think the reality is it's not true. We provide a very safe and effective product. You can go to our site and look at the incredible before and after pictures that we have, and read the reviews. Look at the incredible reviews that we have and the high net promoter scores that we have. And there's actually a great clinical study as well. There's a clinical study that's out there from 2019 that demonstrates the clinical safety and effectiveness of our products. So simply not true. I think that's been a lot of the noise historically that's been out there. And if you think about it, anytime you disrupt a category, it takes time for people to understand, the business and the opportunity. And our business is very, very complex, underneath. So it does take time for people to understand and appreciate it. But I think when they do, they realize what an incredible opportunity that we have. And like I said before, just getting started in that.
Got it. No, got it. I mean, listen, I mean, everyone has their opinion. I guess everyone, just like noses, everyone has ideas or opinions.
Right.
So,
yeah, look, I think if you look at those, right, the knock historically that people may have had, there's been questions around the regulatory environment, as an example. Well, I think we've proven over the years that we're in a great spot on the regulatory side, and the business has been operating now for 6 years with obviously very great success. And COVID has only accelerated that. The broad acceptance of telehealth and teledentistry is only accelerated as of COVID. So we're in a better position now than we've ever been on the regulatory side. If you think about profitability, which has been questioned historically, obviously we proved that wrong in Q3 of last year. If you look at the clinical concerns over teledentistry, I think again, we just spoke a lot about that, but there's a lot of data out there and evidence supporting the opposite. And people had concerns over the competitive environment. We spent a lot of time talking about the barriers to success that we've built within this business for our competitors. And it's going to take a lot of time and money and execution for someone to get to where we are today. And same thing, on the balance sheet, there'd be questions over liquidity. We've got $500 million of cash on the balance sheet today. We're in a great spot and executing for the future. So, a lot of those questions we've executed on over time, and I think we've checked those boxes, and just need to continue to execute quarter in and quarter out to prove that.
Yeah. I mean, and by the way, I read that one, but I also received many comments like from CM. I went to SmileDirect. I liked my experience. I did this. I got this. So there's a lot of people that are saying the positive things. Now, the last question, I guess, I don't know. It's a marketing question. Any plans to have a celeb promote the product? Yeah, Webcoin, they're asking me to promote it. No. Any plans to have like Shaquille or any new celebs promote SmileDirect?
Yeah, we do. We've got obviously some good names in the past that we've worked with. We without disclosing it, we do have some more coming up here in the future. But
you can disclose it.
Yeah, can't say too much on that yet.
It's just us two, right?
More to come.
Just us and the camera, right? Okay. So, all right. And all right. Anything I didn't ask that you want to add that I missed out on?
No. Look, I'd love to come back. Appreciate the time. And like I said, we're excited about the future and loving the mission that we're all executing on. Thanks for having us.
It's a great company that knows how to execute. It's not just an idea. I mean, you're delivering millions of products and you have stores everywhere. And executing to 13 countries and to more is not an easy feat I don't care what product it is. Like,
right.
It's just like that's, I mean, me being an investor, that's where I don't think you guys get the credit you deserve on that international execute. Like, that's just my, that international execution is just like,
yeah. I can't. 12 countries in 2 years. We've got a handful more coming this year and more to come.
I can't say enough about that. I mean, that people don't understand how hard that is because
during a global pandemic too.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's unbelievable. Forget everything else. I mean, everything else is great, but 12 countries, and that just means you got the system. And once you have the system, it spreads. Right. And that's, that's why you joined the company. This is easy for you, Kyle. So, all right, Kyle, thank you for coming on. Say hi to the team there. we appreciate it. Hopefully you'll come on again after earnings, and have a good rest of the week.
Yeah, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.